Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah, bismillah. Insha Allah, everybody in the best state of iman and in good health, striving to become better Muslims. I'm going to do Insha Allah, bismillah ta'ala. I want to do like a short series on about Shaytan, our enemy, and the way he attacks us. Like anybody who watched my video on how I study, how I research, and one issue that I was working on for a cook bar and some research and part of my homework, I want to do a short series on it because when I look at a lot of issues in the world, Muslim issues, non-Muslim issues, and when you dig down deep and take a real good look at things, at the very root cause of it all, I could see Shaytan. I could see Shaytan. I could see the promise that he made to Allah. Like, just a lot that's going on in the world today. I could see Shaytan as the root cause of it. And one thing, man, that we need to be mindful of, and this is something that I thank Allah Azza wa Jal for. And because this isn't thought out, it isn't something that I really just written down and mulled over. So it's going to come out kind of raw, but so I'm pausing a little bit because I want it to come out not condescending, but some people, and I notice in this, I thank Allah that I wasn't really like that. Some people want friends so bad that they'll hang with anybody. Some people want relationships, like opposite sex relationships, same sex relationships. Some people want relationships so bad that they will be with anybody. With anybody, right? And not really necessarily saying with me, but in the recent years, and I had to speak on this because this aspect, this is all in the same topic: Shaytan and friendship, companionship, and relationships. And I'm gonna bring it to a point. So with myself, sometimes, man, I always used to ask myself, right, you know, where I talk with certain people, man, and they used to have conversations like when they get to a particular age, the people who really know them, what are they going to say about them? You know, like how when some people pass away, you know, people might have had a lot of little love for them and stuff, but it's like some people really was some no good people. Like, what is people going to say about them, like when they speak in truth? Not something that they just saying about them because they feel some type of jealousy or envy or some type of hatred in their heart for this person because they wasn't better than them in areas that they wanted to be. We not talking about that. So with this conversation, you know, certain people was just like, you know, saying what they were saying. So the point I'm getting to is when people used to talk to me and they would be sincere to me, these are some of the things they always said to me, Muslim and non-Muslim. Wallahi, I'm talking about numerous, the majority of the people that I've been around. They all said, the majority of them said, I have never seen a Muslim that was as serious about Islam like you. I've never met a Muslim in person that was as serious about Islam as you are. They always said I was humble. This isn't trying to flatter me. They always said that I was humble. They always said I love the deen, no matter what. If you ask people about me, they gonna say that brother love Islam. One bad characteristic that I have is actually a good characteristic in Islam, and it's gonna be, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna tell you the truth. If we around some ratchet, no good, scheming, evil doing opposers of the Quran and Sunnah, individuals that label themselves as Muslims, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. Whether I'm cool with them, whether I'm not cool with them, in front of them, sitting in the car with them, that's something about me that Muslims who ain't no good don't like. So certain Muslims who've been on the receiving end of that will make up anything to bring me down to the level in which people see them on. Things that people say about me, that brother always got a book about the deen. That brother always reading. He always studying. This is what the people say about me. And then when anybody who was around me for a significant amount of time, and we may not be around each other anymore, when those particular people talk about the Islam, and this is numerous people, you know what they say? That sister who used to be around you, that brother who used to be around you, when they talking about the deen, I could see you in them. I could see you in them. I could see your influence on them. This is what the people say. This ain't what I say about myself. This isn't the image that I put out that I want people to think about me. When people get around me and they sit around me for a significant amount of time, they start wanting to study. They start wanting to read. They start wanting to learn their deen. They start wanting to implement. They start wanting to change. This isn't something I'm telling myself. This is what the people say about me, even when they don't like me. And like I said, the ones who don't like me, I gave them a reason to not like me by making sure they was up on the receiving end of that stick. I make sure they on the receiving end of that stick. When it's just us alone, when we in a group of people, there's new Muslims around and they influencing new Muslims with that garbage, I make sure they on the receiving end of that stick. If they up to no good, and like we not talking about just Muslims that have your regular, ordinary, everyday 9 to 5 type of sins. We talking about evil doing, wicked, up to no good, scheming, destroyers and destructors of good. They gonna be on that receiving end of that stick around me. Now the reason why I'm speaking on that is because sometimes we had to look at ourselves, and if we had to say, what do the people say about us? How many other people gonna say that person, brother or sister, they love Islam? The people who be around them start to love Islam. Right? We talking about people that's being truthful. What are the people gonna say? When the people see you, do they see a dope dealer? Do they see a schemer? Do they see a hypocrite? Do they see a munafiq? See, this is one thing, man, that I do with me. Right? I don't when I sit down and reflect with myself, I don't judge myself based off the things that I don't do anymore. I don't pat myself on the back. I don't big myself up. I look at all the things that I haven't stopped doing, and Islamically the things I need to do more. I remember sitting in the car, man, with a brother, and wallahi, this was sincere, when he was at work, and I said to him, man, I ain't no good Muslim. And he was looking at me like what? Then also on the flip side, man, if you ain't no good Muslim, who can become one? But then it was like, why you say that? I said, I'm not saying I'm not a good Muslim because I'm sinful. I'm not a good Muslim because I don't do enough of what Islam tell me to do. I ain't no Hafid of the Quran. I ain't sitting around reciting surahs all day. I judge myself based off of that. So like sometimes Muslims, I be hearing, you know what I'm saying, Muslims might be wretched, might be an adulterer, a fornicator, take advantage of young girls, 40, messing with 15, 13-year-olds, kafirs, manipulatives, just totally wretched. Islam say don't do 100 things, and they do 98 of them, but they might not drink or smoke cigarettes. So sometimes, man, we tell ourselves, well, I don't drink no more, I don't smoke no more. So we've reached the mark. I don't do that to myself. I talk about everything that I still do, and the things that I don't do that Islam tells me to do. I ain't praying enough. I ain't fasting enough. I don't offer duha enough. I don't pay enough zakat. I don't give enough sadaqah. I got too much clothes that I don't wear hanging up in my closet. You know what I'm saying? I got too many pair of shoes. I get on myself about that type of stuff, and I start giving stuff away to people who need it. So I'm saying that, man, because I see a lot of people who Muslims, man, and they tell themselves, I don't smoke, or they present themselves. They try to tell people what to think about them, but what the people say about them is wretched. It's wretched. And I'm just being honest. Like, on the streets, you don't even have a name as a good person, let alone a good Muslim. When the people see you, you don't remind them of Allah. When the Muslims see you, you don't remind the Muslims of Allah. You don't remind the Muslims of Islam. When the kuffar see you, you're not even a good person. You're a person that none of them like. You got horrible ways. You always arguing. This is what the people say to you, about you. Somebody that hears about you come up and be like, man, how you friends with that person? This is what the people say about them, man. And with me speaking on this, you have to take in account that these is forms of intercession. These is forms of intercession. How you going to explain to Allah Azza wa Jal as one of the representatives of his deen when you walk around on this earth every day and the people hate you? Not because of no jealousy, not because people trying to turn them against you because you're a good person and you need to look bad. It's genuinely because exactly how you are. That's something, man, we don't want to leave the earth like that. And then we keep doing more and more because we want people to be proud of us. How you gonna make some people proud of you when you can't even make them like you first? And see, this is why I'm saying I thank Allah, because the people when we was growing up and people didn't like them for who they was naturally, and they couldn't get the fellas who couldn't get girls off of who they was naturally, and the girls who couldn't get guys off of who they was naturally, they went and started to do the extra things to con their way into people like. Just like some of these guys, we don't keep it 100. They couldn't get girls and stuff, man, until they started getting dope money. Some of these girls couldn't get dudes to say hi to them until they started to be the extra freaky girl. The half butt naked girl walking through the hallways half naked at school, at the football games, basketball games, coming into the adulthood, coming to the club the most naked. But off of who they was naturally. And see, this is why these same type of people, they can't keep relationships and friendships, because people don't be into them for who they are naturally. Once they run out of whatever the people can get from them, and the people have to deal with them and who they are, they don't want to be around them. So they still running through life trying to make people that don't like them proud of them by trying to offer them something that they think they need. Us Muslims, man, we need to be trying to do that for Allah Azza wa Jal. Let me say you this. Let's say you in the worst situation you ever been in your life. You just got a job. You can't get to work. You need the job badly to save your home, to feed your children, to feed yourself. And then all of a sudden, a person comes along. They may work at the same place. You might just be meeting them. You might have met them at orientation. And then they say, you know what? I'm going to give you a ride to work every day. You don't owe me no gas money, no nothing. Then also say, look, you can't eat, you can't feed your kids or whatever. Here go $200, man. I'll take you to the store to get you some groceries. This don't mean, and this could be a female helping a female, a male helping a female, so nobody put it in the category of a dude helping a female because they want sex from them. This is somebody genuinely helping you and don't want nothing from you. And then they help you stay on your feet, and then they continue to give you free rides until you got enough money to buy your own vehicle. Right? A genuine person gonna say, man, I owe that person so much, man. it's really nothing, you know what I'm saying? Nothing that ain't within reason, I wouldn't do for that person. You know why? Because genuine people feel like they owe that person, right? When you put it in that type of perspective, now ask yourself, what do you owe Allah? What do you owe Allah? See, a lot of us feel like because we became Muslim and we pray 5 times a day and we fast during Ramadan and may do 20 rakats for Taraweeh, Allah owes us what we praying for, as opposed to looking at it as, I owe Allah for everything that He done me. This is the least I could do to repay Allah. And see, that's the problem, and that's where Shaytan done tricked a lot of us. We following Islam for what we can get out of it, as opposed to trying to pay Allah Azza wa Jal back just for something as simple as being able to talk, being able to breathe, being able to see, being able to hear. You see what I'm saying? We into it for what we can get out of it, or how we think it make us look to other people. I'm a changed man. I'm on my deen now. No more dope gangs. You know, we quoting Tupac lyrics. The older generations. This ain't for you to be trying to get somebody that ain't even gonna see you in the next year maybe. You just bumped into them to talk to them for about 4-5 minutes. Now you want them to be proud of you. Yeah, man, I'm Deen and now I'm Muslim now. No more dope games. All that weirdness, man. And they don't even like you. They don't even want to stop and talk. But see, you want something from them that you should want from Allah Azza wa Jal, man. We looking at it wrong, man. We looking at it wrong. So, but the reason why that is because of Shaytan, man. And I'm telling you, man, a lot of us Muslims, man, in real talk, we are trying to put on this display our Islam, man. For some people, man, it's part of our image, man. It ain't part of our life, it's part of our image. You know why? Because when we by ourselves, we take that deen off like we take off clothes. When it ain't nobody around for me to pretend to be a good Muslim for likes and applause, or whatever it is that I can con them up out of, that Islam come off of us. And then another Muslim can see that. We at the point right now, man, where Muslims, we don't even remind other Muslims of Allah. Not by saying like this right here, because I got this on. I could be dressed like this, sitting outside of a bar, getting ready to fight and kill. For something that I'm in the wrong about. Just because I got this on isn't an automatic reminder of Allah or a reminder of Islam. Sometimes the reminder could be to somebody who might have wanted to become Muslim. They look at one of us and say, see, that's exactly why I'm not Muslim. That's exactly why I left Islam. And I'm telling you right now, I done seen Muslims that deal with other Muslims. It done been Muslims calling me on the phone crying out of breath. Like crying like a 3-year-old that got the worst whooping in their life. Struggling to hold on to their deen because they can't deal with the Muslims that they around. They can't fathom why Islam not fixing them. Why they still horrible, wretched people? Like, if every Muslim that I had to encounter is like this, I don't want to be Muslim no more. And see, sometimes you have to give them an analogy just like this. I'm a regular person in this house. My masjid. Now imagine me going around and just tell everybody, hey, I'm a millionaire. But I can't help nobody. I ain't got no money to help nobody. I'm just saying, I'm just calling myself a millionaire. I ain't got none of the ways of the millionaires. I ain't got money like a millionaire. I still can't even go to the grocery store. Sometimes I have to take stuff back out of my cart and put it back up. Yeah, I can't get that this week. My water bill due. You know what I'm saying? My grocery list got to be a little short this week. You know what I'm saying? My internet and phone bills is due. You know what I'm saying? Got to cut back on the food because I got to get laundry detergent and toilet paper this week. And people can look at me and be like, what you worried about all that for? I thought you was a millionaire. But in reality, not only am I not a millionaire, I'm not a thousandaire. So when you look at that analogy, oh, okay, you don't got the ways of a millionaire because you're not a millionaire. You just label yourself as one. And I sit down and say, unfortunately, these people who you looking at talking about why Islam ain't fixing them, one, because they not practicing it. Two, they don't know what it is. Three, they just label themselves as a Muslim for whatever reason. And that's sufficient enough for their ego. That's why. Because it's something that they call themselves. It's not something that they be in. Now, sometimes, and this is something else I'm going to say, because people who don't really read books, and somebody who read a book or read some of a book caught them being wrong, they always want to say something. This is extremely disrespectful. And it don't be said to me, but I hear them say it about each other. Oh, they done read a couple of little books, now they think they know something. No, that ain't what the point is. Because people who really study and go to classes and really, really read books, they don't read a couple of books and be like, wow, you know what? I know a little something now. They read them books and say, I don't know nothing. And that's why they stay in them. When you start to learn, the thing that you learn the most is what you don't know. You start to learn what you don't know. But see, it's easy for them to say that because they don't read nothing or don't study nothing. And now they just upset because somebody that they put theyself above know some things that they don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because if you boil it down and you sit down and say to them, okay, so if people read a couple of books, now they think they know something, huh? Why is it that you think you know something? You know why? Because they read a couple of books. They Google something on the internet. So the same thing they saying about other people, because they didn't know what they was talking about and a person hit them with some dalil, now they don't like it. This isn't the way of the Muslim, man. And I'm telling you, it comes from the Shaytan. And this is why, you know, a lot of people, man, I'm seeing a lot of good people, man, and I see some people who recognizing the errors in their ways and they wanting to change. But guess what's making it so difficult? Their environment. The people that they hang around. They don't have the strength to let them go. So look, I'm gonna read y'all hadith. I'm gonna do this series on the Shaytan, and I want us Muslims, man, to start first learning to protect ourselves from Shaytan. Start learning to recognize Shaytan first. So like when we was meeting on the Saturdays to do the little classes, well, they call them classes. It's not a class to me. I'm not trying to, I hope that don't make me sound like I think I'm above it. But to me, it's not a class. It's a dars. It's almost like a lecture. So as we talking and this and that, when you starting to be able to see not only the people who don't protect themselves from the shaitan or the shayatins or the jinns, they don't protect themselves from the haram. So when you start, this is how you start to recognize that. When you're able to recognize shaitan, and you could be in a room, like wallahi, this is a true story. So while we're in the room, you can see people engaged. And they like, it ain't like they bored. It ain't like the conversation ain't hitting on nothing. It's engaged. Then all of a sudden, one person yawn. Then the next person yawn. Right then and there, you can see who shaitan is affected. Because yawning comes from shaitan. Right? Then, when you see them yawn, and they don't know what to do, they don't know the etiquettes for when they yawn, and they don't protect themselves, or if they do know them and don't do it anyway, then you wait and see who they're going to affect. So I remember seeing this. So I said, I don't want nobody to feel like I'm talking to them personally. But when you make a salat of this and that, if you start yawning, where does yawning come from? One brother said from shaitan. So I said, shaitan is here. Shaitan is in this room. There's something in here that shaitan doesn't want somebody to hear. But we having these conversations about people not making the du'as before they go in the bathroom. People not making the du'as before they come in their house and when they leave their house. The things that protect you from shaitan and the jinns. Letting all type of random people come in their house that don't protect themselves from the jinns. Going all over different people's houses where the jinns and all this stuff is present. And they not protecting themselves. All in the marketplaces. You see what I'm saying? So when you start to recognize that, you can see that. And lo and behold, I say within maybe 7 minutes after I'm talking and we having a conversation, all of a sudden one brother gets distracted. And then the very first person that yawned jumped up. And then they just went, while we having this lesson in this dars, and everybody is engaged, and they both just sitting there talking and distracted, and can't neither one of us hear, and can't neither one of them hear nothing that's going on. When I said there's something in here shaitan want somebody not to hear. But I didn't pause and let them think. We kept on continuing talking, but the people who was keen on what was said, they looked at this sister and they looked at the brother as they were sitting up there talking about something in the book that didn't have nothing to do with what was going on. And that's why you gotta be able to recognize shaitan. And it was bugged out because that same sister, when we got to having this conversation, that same sister said, man, I feel like I'm possessed. I'm probably one of the ones that's possessed. And I had to tell them, don't talk like that because you could be making the dua from yourself. But my point is, we need to be able to recognize shaitan, man. You got to know when the people that's coming around you bringing shaitan into your presence, you have to know when to guard yourself, protect yourself, and even remove yourself from these environment and these people. Because eventually shaitan gonna get to you in some way, shape, or form. It's inevitable. When you learn about shaitan and what he's saying, it's inevitable. So when I start this series, I'm gonna give y'all this hadith, man. And right now, I'm gonna give y'all this a longer hadith about shaitan that I'm gonna break down. But right here, this is a hadith right here from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's been narrated that the Rasul said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, your best friend, a good companion, a righteous companion is the one who, seeing them, reminds you of Allah. Speaking to them increases you in knowledge, and their actions remind you of the hereafter. You feel like you're looking at a person of Jannah, or you look at them and say, these is the type of things I need to start doing to try to get to Jannah. Just seeing them, not what they have on, but it's something about them, that aura about them reminds you of Allah. And when you speak to them, they increase you in the Islamic knowledge. They putting you on, right? And their actions remind you of the actions of the hereafter. The type of actions that lead you to Jannah. They always fasting, right? But not for what they want. Not let me keep praying so that Allah takes none of this stuff away from me. But I'm praying because I owe Allah. Just like you would pay that person back that you felt helped you in a time of need like nobody else would, and you would do anything to repay them, start deaning, start praying 5 times a day to pay Allah back for waking you up today, for allowing you to be able to get up and walk, for you allowing you to be able to eat and digest food. I'm finna pray 5 times a day to pay Allah back. I'm finna get up out of the sleep at night and make tahajjud, qiyam al-layl, to pray Allah back. Not because I want something from Allah, or I don't want Allah to take something away from me, because then at that point you're not worshiping your Lord, you're worshiping the dunya, and you know your dunya is in the hands of Allah. You gotta look at it different. You gotta look at it different. And then this is when your sincerity is going to change. And this is how you need to start looking at your companions. If you around Muslim companions and all they do is remind you of the dunya, all they want to do, if you hanging around them and you feel like you want to smoke some weed, you feel like you want to drink, you feel like you want to go holler at the girls, and this goes for the sisters too. They want to take you to all these places where the najis is, and this is not speaking from a place of being judgmental, but this is speaking from a place of protecting your deen and not earning the anger of Allah Azza wa Jal. If your friends ain't trying to get to the point where y'all remind each other of Allah, right? And when y'all speak to each other, y'all increase each other in knowledge, real knowledge, not just sitting around talking that butterfly Islam. You know, Allah said, man, as long as you got your pistol on you, you ain't never lacking. You stay ready. You ain't never got to get ready, Jack. You keep that pistol on you, you will never be lacking. Nah, we ain't talking about that old butterfly, Mickey Mouse, Cracker Jack, prize in the Cracker Jack box Islam. We talking about real deen. If they got you wanting to go hustle in the streets, if they got you wanting to run cons, the prosper off the back of Muslim kids and a bunch of little weirdoisms, nah, man, they ain't good companions, man. I see the hellfire. I see the actions of the people of the hellfire in some Muslims. They don't even remind me of Allah Azza wa Jal. They remind me of Shaytan. And when I listen to them speak, I don't get no knowledge. All I hear is 90% ignorance. Then the other 10% is them repeating some stuff they heard somebody else say, or something they seen on the internet that they don't fully understand. It just sound good. We don't want to be that. Anytime this is something else, man, when it comes to the people, man, when the people looking at you and all they see is a wretched, loud mouth, perpetrating the fraud, rat, fink individual, and they right, and this is something that they know of you from being around you. You need to work on your deen. You need to work on your deen, and not that butterfly stuff, man. Not that butterfly stuff. And I'm going to end on one more, and I'm using my phone. Check this out. The righteous friend is the righteous person who is obedient to their Lord, adheres to the teaching of the religion, is keen to please Allah, hasten on the basis of faith to do all good deeds, turn away out of fear of Allah from all evil deeds, loves the Sunnah and those who follow it, take people as friends for the sake of Allah, opposes the enemies of Allah for the sake of Allah. That's even if they Muslim. You can be an enemy of Islam and call yourself and wear the label of a Muslim. Yes, you can, right? Opposes the enemies of Allah for the sake of Allah, resents sin and the people of sins, and fear Allah, is pure-hearted and righteous, and is not boastful and has no rancor or envy in their heart. The righteous friend reminds you of your Lord whenever you become heedless of his remembrance. They put you back on your square. They help you get on your deen. They not the Muslims that finna come around and pull you off of it. Like some of you individuals, you know what I'm saying, like with me. Sometimes I have a struggle with music. I no longer sit around for years. I don't sit around and just listen to music. You know what I'm saying? I don't ride around in my car listening to music like I used to. Sometimes I'll be working out. When I exercise and I'm boxing, I'll listen to a little music. You see what I'm saying? Occasionally, sometimes a TikTok video or some movie I may be watching, it might play a song or something and it remind me of that song, and I might play that little song a few times or something, or get to listening to a music for a little bit. But I don't sit around listening to music like that. But why I'm bringing that up is, if I know a Muslim who don't listen to no music, and let's say we finna work out together, I'm not gonna play no music while I work out, because that might spark that fitna back up in them, and then they back to listening to music full time, and then they get to the point where they influenced by the music and start wanting to become one of those characters of that rapper or whatever that music is. So sometimes we have to be careful, man, because if I get them back into listening to that music, like some Muslims I know, they really can't. Music, like when they wake up, they got to turn some music on to get their mood together. When they ride around, they got to have that music bumping. You know what I'm saying? Even when they at work, they got to turn some music on. They got to listen to some music. And whether it's a Muslim that struggle and don't listen to no music, like if they got another Muslim riding in a car with them that don't listen to music, and be like, hey, Ak, you know, I understand it's your car, man. You know, you asked me to come this way with you, this and that. Can we put a lecture on? Man, you better get out of here with that, man. We finna bump this music. And then you relapse, and now you back to listening to music the same way. Even buying, purchasing, streaming music. Anytime, like I say, anytime I do fall into listening to some music, I go find it on YouTube. When I work out, I'm gonna go find it on YouTube. I ain't gonna pay for it. I ain't finna stream music. I ain't finna pay for no subscription to streaming sites. Purchasing music, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I can't knock it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to be the cause of another person to fall into it. This isn't the righteous friend that reminds you of Allah, that's calling you back to the dunya, that fits these characteristics of what I just read. Like it said, the righteous friend reminds you of your Lord. Whenever you become heedless of his remembrance, he helps you and joins you when you are remembering your Lord. The Prophet ﷺ said the believers are like a structures, part of which support other parts. And he interlaced his fingers like this. And this is agreed upon. This is a hadith that's recorded in Bukhari and Muslim. We need to be like this, but on a good end. We can't be like this, interlocked in the dunya, interlocked and being calm, man, interlocked and being wretched. You see what I'm saying? Interlocked with being wretched and sinful and just flat out ridiculous when it comes to Islam. And then, like it say, sometimes You could know the characteristics of an individual, man, because Allah tell us in the Quran, when you see these type of Muslims and you say, Itaqillah, fear Allah, and then remind them of the wrongdoing that they doing, they become rebellious and start to do it even more. Because now it's out of spite of you. Yeah, I'm going to show you. And then when you see that, you can't deny what Allah told us. You can't deny what Allah told us. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm telling you, man, I done been around some Muslims, man. It was like a Muslim, you know, not just me, but you know, I like to exercise a little bit on the boxing side. So my workout routine is more geared towards a fighter as opposed to a weightlifter, you know, a person who want a build of a type of, you know what I'm saying, a summer body, as we call it out here. You know, there's some people who work out because they want the summer body, and then there's some people who work out in a fashion like, get up off me. You know what I'm saying? You know, one of them put you on your back like a turtle and be like, look, you don't want to do this. Some people work out like that. You know what I'm saying? And being as a kid, those was my introduction to workout. Karate, little boxing, and I was a gymnast. So it was always geared towards get up off of me. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you just have a different type of mindset. So when I'm dealing with somebody like that, but the point is, it was another Muslim that was like that was around us. And there was another Muslim who tried to work out a little bit, man, but he loved to smoke. And when he would be around this other Muslim and they would be around us, he would try to get these little vaping things and go like this and pull up as much smoke as they could and then blow it all in the car with the window shut down. You know what I'm saying? Because he wanted to affect this other person, because this person could work out in a way that he couldn't. But we was all Muslim. You know what I'm saying? Even to the point when I used to be like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like what's to you that you doing that? Man, this you ride with me. But he's still another Muslim, man. Like, do you feel like you're reminding this brother of Allah? or is you calling into something different? Because one thing for sure, the last thing you're gonna want, how dadgummit, is for him to pull you out that car, and you ain't got your pole with you. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these cats, if they ain't got that pole with them, they ain't comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Them type of individuals that feel like, see, one thing, man, about Illinois, man, even around Chicago, one of the mottos used to be, anything I could talk myself into, I could talk my way out of. And unfortunately, and I'm not saying this from a humiliating point, can't talk your way out that grave, Jack. But you sure could talk your way into it. You see what I'm saying? And some of them cats, they used to having that pole with them, because when they scared to death, they could just do this. You know what I'm saying? You scare them to death and they could be like this. But see, some of them cats catch you without that pole and have you running around the car. You know what I'm saying? But alhamdulillah, man. So, you know, as a Muslim, man, we need to be able to recognize Shaytan, because even in everything that I'm talking about, the root cause of it is Shaytan. It is Shaytan. And when I go down and break down this series and start to show how Shaytan attacks us and how we start to rearrange our deen and the things that we've fallen into, you're going to be able to see Shaytan, man. And I'm going to do it in detail. I'm going to try to do it academically, where I'm not just talking like how I'm talking now, because I really don't even like doing this. But I've been feeling it's been necessary, man. It's therapy, because, you know, I hate when I start to interact with certain Muslims, man, and then my phone be jumping off the hook and messages, man, where people just done got their heart broke and they just disheartened. And once again, more lies and more rumors and more treachery and individuals just up to no good. And then the whole time I sit down and say, hey, I told you in front of them. I told them about themselves in front of you. They even talked about the situations and they admitted that this is what they used to be on. So you knew what you was up against, but you thought you can fix them. And now you starting to take on their characteristics because you keep trying to be around them. All you had to do was listen, man. So it caused me to do this, but I'm gonna get on this series, Insha Allah, about the Shaytan, man. Because Shaytan is, I ain't into killing, man. But if I could kill Shaytan, I'd do the world a favor, man. I wouldn't even think twice about it. But assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Man, y'all forgive some of my rant and take from what was beneficial from what I said about the Shaytan, because I'm serious about that. And I'm gonna try to get on this series academically. It's so much that I really gotta write stuff down and piece it together. I gotta break it down in parts. And I'm gonna try to do it in like 15-minute parts, because I don't want to lose the people attention. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And once again, man, y'all please forgive me, please.